What's up, guys? Stephen Wanja here, and today I'd like to talk to you about the power you get from harnessing your body and speech. So, I was just watching a video from a retreat by one of my favorite Buddhist mentors, Robina Corton, and in it, she was going in depth about essentially the nature of reality and how everything essentially is empty, meaning that everything is dependent upon the mind calling it that thing. Basically, she was explaining that objective reality tends to be impressed upon labels that do not inherently exist. So she took the example of a cup, right? And she said, okay, here's a cup, and we can all agree that there is a cup here. But what we tend to do is place labels on this cup. Oh, this is such a beautiful cup. This is a marvelous cup. This is an amazing cup. And so what that does is it now puts things on the cup that does not necessarily exist. Now, you might say it doesn't really matter, but if you think about it, it has massive, massive implications. Because that means that our mind essentially has the power to amplify whatever object we wish to amplify. So, how could this be useful when it comes to harnessing your body and speech? Well, how many times a day do you feel like someone is attacking you, or someone is disrespecting you, or someone is attacking your reputation, etc., etc.? Well, this tells you and explains to you that no, the person is not doing any of those things. Rather, what is happening is because of your unbalanced mind, what she calls mentally ill, because by definition, she believes that we are not to have any neuroses, things like depression, anger, sadness, etc. All of these things come about because of the impressions created by the mind upon objective reality. And because these impressions are inherently non-existent, meaning they do not exist, they are like phantoms, and thus should not be there. Because we put those things on there, we're the ones who suffer. It's like by believing a lie, you suffer. So she believes essentially that our minds are to be quiet, compassionate, loving, empathetic instruments for good, as opposed to tools of vengeance or vendetta or violence and anger, like all the things we see today. So, to go back to that example of someone wronging you, the reason why you feel that way is because of the neurotic reaction of anger, the neurotic reaction of the ego that always feels like it is being called out, the ego that always feels like it is at the center of everything. Because of that, it is being brought out into the surface. It is being put to the forefront, even though it shouldn't be, and given more power than it should be given. And thus now, it creates body sensations such as adrenaline, your heart pumping, etc., causing you to believe that this illusionary attack is real. And thus now you believe that you're being attacked, when in reality nothing's happening. Someone just said something and you took it the wrong way. So basically this means that it is up to us to always take a step back. Always take a step back. Always gain perspective. Always take a deep breath, especially when we feel like it is the right thing to lash out, especially when we feel like it is the right thing to seek justice, because that is exactly the moment where we fail. That is exactly the moment where we drastically change our destiny for the worst. Because as I say, it's not in the big things, it's not in the major public moments where we are being formed, where our character is being built, where our destiny is being created, where, if you want, our blessings are being earned. It is not in those moments. Rather, it's in those small moments. That moment of inner decision when you're faced with red or blue. And it's always in those moments. It's always in that decision that essentially the goal that, not to get esoteric or spiritual, the goal that God wanted for you is decided upon. It's when, that is when God is pretty much saying, okay, does he deserve this or not? Will he choose me or not? It's always in those moments. It's not in anything else. And so what I wanted to say especially is, one, I hope you watched the previous video in this series of Cultivating Your Life Force, because it will set you upon the happiness challenge, which is where you monitor your thoughts and you try to consciously keep you in a positive thought loop. By doing that, you're actually training your mind. You're increasing your mind power, because you are becoming the rider of your horse. Your mind is like a horse. It just wants to ride and go and go. But you're the one that's like, no, let's go here. Let's go there. Let's go there. You're the one riding your horse. The horse is not riding you. So as you do that now, you will actually start seeing these moments of crisis. You will actually start seeing the moments where anger starts creeping in. Because I like how she puts it. She says that essentially it's like there are different roommates all up in here. Different, you want to call it, different personalities. There's the happy one, there's the negative or sad one or angry one, and then there's a neutral one, right? And so it is your duty to essentially always have the happy one up here, out there, and controlling the show. Because the moment that the negative, sad, or angry one runs the show, everything goes to shit. All it is there is to create chaos and nothing else. Make no mistake about that, violence is never the answer. Because think of this, when two people fight, right, and one comes out and is the victor, and the other comes out and is the loser, at the end though, what has been achieved? They lashed out to each other, but most of the time, that is not the end of that conflict. if you think about it, it's not the end of that conflict. That conflict is still there. The reason why they fought is still there. And so it doesn't change anything. All it does, it's almost like sweeping dirt under the carpet. You're only creating more room for shit to grow. So rather than doing that, focus on taking a deep breath and then gaining perspective, seeing the bigger picture. Does this moment really matter in the scope of things? Will my life truly be better if I did this? Or does it really not matter? Because you ultimately realize nothing really matters. It's literally just one moment in your life. So there's no need to get worked up over it. So with the power of this positivity challenge, you're actually able to better focus and control the output that you put out into the world. Remember, it's what you put out that you get, right? So if you can always have a phenomenal output, if you can always have a positive output, you can only ever get positive things back. Make no mistake, shit happens to everyone. That is just the nature of life. Like she says, it's called the suffering of suffering. And obviously, that can't ever really be avoided. But for the most part, even those sufferings essentially always bring something good with them, right? So, Kobe Bryant broke his leg, but now it gave him the opportunity to show how much fucking resilience someone can really have, and how hard and how strong the human mind and the human spirit can be, because he came back with the injury and just came back and crushed it that much harder. And I bet now the beauty of that is because of that injury now, he has a higher and deeper body movement intelligence. He knows that if he moves his body in a specific way and it's too shabby, he will get injured. So he won't make that mistake again. So it was essentially a blessing in disguise. But the thing is, those are lessons, and those are beautiful lessons. But by focusing and controlling your positive output, your output to only be positive, you will only be positive. Only positive things will happen to you. You won't have to fucking deal with drama and negativity and people starting feuds or just craziness like that. You won't ever have to deal with that because you'll be so long-term oriented that you'll realize that, man, it's so petty. I have better things to do. I'm a boss. Let's just go make money. You know, like instead of just sitting there and fighting with someone endlessly, wasting your energy. So focus on controlling your body and speech. Don't talk bad about people behind their backs. Don't say something to someone that you wouldn't want someone to say to you. If someone has wronged you, forgive them, because when you were a child and you fucked up, your parents forgave you. And even more, still continue to support you and bless you with all these gifts and support and love and attention and all that. So why not be that person for someone else? If you get in an argument and you can't seem to agree with someone, do not hate them because they think differently of you. Rather, just see how their different perspective or their way of looking at life could help you in one way or the other. Maybe they're a little aggressive and obviously it's not the right thing to do. But see how maybe by being a bit more aggressive on the field, playing sports, playing soccer, could help you. Things like that. Learn how to control and manage your energy instead of just living life in reaction. Learn how to say, this is the right choice and I'm going to make it, as opposed to just trying to cater to the whims of a society that is fundamentally maladjusted. Because a long time ago, or it wasn't, I mean, well, I guess you can say it, 400 or 1,000, 600 years is kind of long, but there was a point when every single people or society said that the earth was flat and at the center of the galaxy. And now someone had to say, fuck all y'all, you're wrong. I know it. I know this is the right choice. And despite the fact that people think I'm stupid for it, I'm going to make the right choice. And now look at where we are today. So that massive impact on science, on culture, on everything came about because one person had the strength to make the right choice. So think about how by you making that right choice in that right moment, in that moment of crisis, think about how that right choice can impact us as a whole. Hope you guys got something out of this, and until next time.